You're a mistake. This is all pig sex. Who's ready to oink?
If you're hearing our voices, that means it's time for It's This Meets That, podcast where we watch the worst movies from trailer to end credits, scene by scene. So you don't have to, but maybe you should. I'm Russ.
I'm Jared.
I'm ready. Let's do this, man.
Yeah.
We're back.
I almost was going to do matching quotes for the first one and the second one. Mm-hmm. So do that for the second one, and then the first one, when he says it, when Toronto says it the first time.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're a mistake. This is a real pig fuck.
Yeah, it's a lot of thought. It's a lot of thought to put into this. I
know. I'm a pretty thoughtful guy.
All right, so we're back for part 2 for our breakdown of The Men from Toronto 2022 Netflix flick.
That's right.
Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Where we last
that's where they got it from.
Yeah, that's where we last left off. Lori and Ann were hanging out in a limo on the best birthday ever. Man from Toronto and Teddy were on their way to Puerto Rico via C-1 plane, giant plane, which they've just kind of commandeered from some bad guys, right?
That's right. That's all right.
And as we're at, we got title card, Puerto Rico.
See?
Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Teddy's pretty peeved about Toronto killing all these guys in the first place, right? On the plane.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just kill all those guys, right?
Yeah.
Toronto's like, well, it's a dog-eat-dog world, so just casually.
Yeah. And there's a whole back and forth about dogs, kind of riffing on dogs. I was like, okay.
Yeah, like dogs don't eat other dogs typically, and he's like, well, if you get them hungry enough, they will.
They'll eat whatever. Anyway, so the plane, they landed or crashed? I forget if they even was a thing.
They crash landed.
They crash landed. Okay, yeah. Man from Toronto, he just kind of casually lights the plane on fire.
Yeah.
Douses in gas, drops a Zippo. Teddy's like, oh, you dropped your Zippo. I was like, oh, what? Why is he so stupid? Why is he so dumb?
Maddening.
They're walking through this field, and the plane just blows up. Kablooey. And then the handler calls Toronto.
Yeah, the handler, Deborah.
The car. It's like a kit. It's like,
yeah. Yeah, it's a real Knight Rider situation.
Hello, Michael.
I can't do that, Michael.
And then we get a little backstory for a little hint as to something from Man from Toronto's past. Seeing if there's a Minnesota situation happening here. A lot of things, nouns turning into verbs, right?
Yep. A lot of nouns into verbs.
Yeah, we got a Minnesota. Did you pull a Minnesota?
And he's pulling a Minnesota right now.
Yeah, sounds like it.
She says she doesn't pay him to let people live. That's part of the one of her quotes here. Just like what a weird thing to say, I guess.
Yeah, and then they're walking in this field, and it just abruptly comes to a giant cliff which overlooks Puerto Rico. I don't think that's correct.
No, that tracks.
Geographically speaking, I don't know if that's how that works, but
as far as I know, it's definitely.
Or San Juan. I apologize. It's San Juan they're looking at, right?
Yeah, the famous cliffs of San Juan,
right?
Overlooking, yeah.
Duh, right. The famous cliffs of San Juan.
You're forgiven.
I'm so sorry.
Another place we don't have listeners, so there's no one to fact check us. Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
haven't made it to Puerto Rico yet. ITMT. So fuck you all.
I know. I can fix that one.
You got a Puerto Rico hookup, and
I got someone who goes to Puerto Rico that I could say when you go down there. Listen to the pod.
Yes, please.
We cover all of our territories. So then we cut to a golf course, Miami, right? Miami. Yep. And some dude, pink shirt, golf outfit, just shows up at the golf course, asks the guy, hey, who are you, this guy? And he's like, I'm this guy. And he just murders him with a golf club, pulls out a gun, and then shoots his buddy who's running halfway across the golf course. The handler calls the man from Miami, and now we get a little intrigue here. She offers him a $2 million deal.
The same $2 million deal.
Same deal, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like he's going to Puerto Rico.
We're all going to Puerto Rico.
That's a quick trip for him.
Yeah, it's right there. It's just a little hop, skip, and a jump, right?
Yep, that's right.
So we're in the streets of San Juan, right? Stores, kind of like a little montage-ish. They're buying new clothes, they're picking up tools. Yep. More back and forth between Teddy and Toronto.
because they've got an hour to get him ready to keep pretending to be Toronto.
Yes. So he's got to get all the make it seem like he's what he's doing, and then to wrap up that whole little scene, a little montagey moment, they both hop on a Vespa because that's funny.
We're not even halfway through the movie yet.
No.
By the way,
close
listeners.
We're close.
Yeah, we're close.
We're close. We're minutes. We're
not close enough.
No, we're actually pretty big scenes away from it. So
exactly.
Then I guess we get just a random transition shot of Puerto Rico. I guess I don't know. It was like
yeah, something like that. They do some bonding about non-contact boxing in this scene too.
Right.
Which is weird.
Are they at like a conference? Is this a conference? Tech company?
They say it's a tech company event. They explicitly say, "Oh, we're going to this tech company event."
Okay.
A couple of times, which I was like, "What? Why is the writing like this?"
So then,
who talks like this?
So then we're the elevator scene, which it's all trailer stuff. They're kind of get this back and forth. Teddy squeezes out a little fart, does the back and forth hug thing. Yeah, come back to like all you had to do was change a toner, didn't change a toner. A lot of that.
And basically, Toronto is explaining to him in this scene that all he needs to do is bluff. That's the whole name of the game here.
That's it.
Just make them scared, and then they'll give you what you need. And then Teddy goes in, or he's about to go into the room, right?
Yeah, and he's headed to the room. They got a little comm system set up, right? And he's headed to the room. There's two guards and this kind of wiry looking dude with the aviators on.
Yeah.
He looks like he's like a video game villain or something.
Yeah.
And basically there's a conference room of guys. There's like 4 dudes off in the trailer. And he's like, oh, you got to find out who Mr. Green is. That's who we need. Who we need to know, right?
Yep.
Basically more Kevin Hart stuff, him just kind of improvising his way through this.
Yeah. Toronto's in his earpiece, meanwhile, trying to hype him up to do the deed.
Yeah. And again, it's all from the trailer, just expanded a bit, right? So it's just him, Kevin Hart being a klutz, dropping the knives. Tell him, it's like, the guy's like, whoa, you need me to pick that up? He's like, hey, maybe I'm doing a little reverse psychology. You know what that is,
Yeah.
So
Toronto kind of adopting the language here. We can't afford for you to Teddy this one.
Yeah.
Again, maybe the best running joke in the movie.
Yeah, might be. So then he's got his knife and he's like walking up to all the guys like, you know what kind of knife this is? He's like threatening all of them. And he gets
kind of disemboweler. Who are these people? Like, what is this writing? Like, I don't understand.
So then he gets up to the guy at the end. There's like 4 guys there, and he's like talking to one. He accidentally hits the guy in the face with one and cuts right underneath his eye. Right? It's all from the trailer. Yeah, yep. And then he's expanding on the trailer. He's just like, he sees it, and he's like, oh man. And then he starts vomiting. He vomits on the guy, then turns and vomits on the guy next to him.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. And then the guy who he vomited on, he's like, oh, it's me. I'm Mr. Green. So he gives himself up. So that's fair.
Toronto's, thinking this is a train wreck and everything's gone awry at this point, except for it's all actually working out so far.
Yeah. And then the 3 kind of henchmen in here, right? The main guy, he's going to go and kill all the other guys that aren't Mr. Green, right?
Right.
And Teddy's like, whoa, don't you need to kill him, blah, 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 whatever.
Right.
And then dude spots, he's got a little wire in his ear. And he's like, hey, things escalate. Toronto shows up and he just kills all 3 of these guys.
Yep.
And then we get more plot stuff from Mr. Green. He kind of moves us along here, right? Talking about DARPA bombs and blowing up a Venezuelan embassy in DC.
Right before that, we get a quick cut of the man from Miami arriving in Puerto Rico.
Oh yeah, yes.
Getting some more instructions from the handler of like, well, now you got to go kill Toronto, basically.
Yeah, Mr. Green fills us all in about how their DARPA bombs going to blow up the Venezuelan embassy in DC. Kind of all come together. All these jobs they've been doing, getting to codes, and because there's 2 fail safes. One was this Mr. Green's thumb or something like that, and thumbprint, and the other guy was the actual code. So that's how you can, blah 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 blah, right?
So you can tell where this is going.
Yes.
Well, they only need your thumb, bud.
Yeah. So they're about to leave, right?
Teddy thinks that Toronto has turned a new leaf. And he's like, oh, wow, like, look at that. You're going to let this guy live. That's great news.
And you let all the other guys go, right? The other 3 that were there.
Right. And Toronto's like, yeah, definitely. You just might want to step out for a minute.
Yeah, and then you hear some screams, and then he comes back out, and he's like, hey, can I get that who do you get? Hot
Cheetos bag.
Cheetos, like extreme hot Cheetos bag. Another kind of some could have been funnier running gag, but when he shows him his thumb, throws the thumb that he cut off and puts it inside the bag. So we have a severed thumb inside of a extreme hot Cheetos bag right now. So
And then basically they get in a little fight about that afterwards. So they go to the next scene, right?
We are now we're at the halfway point, right? Like we're at the halfway point. And then Man from Miami shows up and he gets him off guard, right?
Yeah, because they're having a little fight between themselves, a little squabble.
Because Teddy wants out. Yeah, he wants out.
I don't need that guy's thumb. Like we could have just brought the guy with us. Like you're doing all kinds of crazy shit. I want out. I don't need to do any of this anymore.
Yeah.
Toronto's ripping him back in.
As Toronto does,
Mm-hmm.
And Man from Miami shows up and he just kicks some ass, tosses Teddy over the balcony. Again, this is stuff from the trailer where he's hanging from like this chandelier thing in the middle of the conference. That's trailer stuff.
In the trailer, it looks way less like wild. Like in the movie, like he's up probably 50, 60 feet.
Oh yeah.
Like he's up like several floors.
Yeah.
In the trailer, they make it look like he's maybe, float, like he's dangling like 15, 20 feet above the floor.
Yeah,
like,
no, he's way up there.
Yeah.
So then there's a action sequence gunfight between Man from Toronto and Miami, right? And they're jumping from floor to floor. We got a little parkour going on. Some hardcore parkour going on. Some weird CG stuff with Teddy falling from kind of a little questionable, but and then the thumb just like kind of in the bag falling around. We get Man from Toronto shooting him in the butt. It's all from the trailer. Then the thumb drops all the way down to the floor. I don't know if there's anything else really in between other than just like this back and forth gunfight between Toronto and Miami.
No, that's it.
And they get some through hijinks, and then at the very end, Man from Miami, he's on the ground floor now. He sees the thumb. He's running for the bag.
Yeah, and they. Yeah. Meanwhile, like they do this twice in this movie, and it pisses me off. Meanwhile, like the background crowd is still just like doing their normal stuff. Like everyone's just dancing, like it's a party.
No one knows what's going on.
Nope. Yeah, and I was like, what? This is unreasonable. Like there are a lot of gunshots that have been happening.
Jared, they're silenced.
Oh my God. That's not how any of this works. It's very frustrating. The first of two times where they do really bizarre scene happening and nobody in the background seems to notice or care.
Yeah, they're just doing their own thing, just hanging out. Yep.
And then finally Teddy and Toronto win the fight. Miami goes down for now.
Yeah, and this pissed me off too. The number of times they could have just killed Miami and he didn't. I know he's maybe turning over a new leaf.
Or the opposite.
Yeah. Like yes. Which there's another blatant one on him. It's so infuriating.
Yes.
So, okay. Then we're in the Cineplex movie theater bathroom, right? Men's room.
Yeah. Teddy's got a nice ass wound that Toronto is attending to.
Yep. He's attending to. We get the classic dude walks in, sees dude touching dude at I don't know.
Yeah, it's a stupid scene. Unnecessary. Like they're like, oh, you guys, it'd be a funny joke.
Yeah, have someone walk in.
Some guy touching another guy's butt. Remember how funny that is?
Some dude coming in and catching him in a compromising situation.
Yeah, remember how funny that was in 2006? Still funny.
So yeah, that's happening, and then he gets a call from his handler, right? Toronto gets a call from a handler, and then Teddy's like, after they hang up the conversation, Teddy's like, she's lying, man. I'm in sales. Yep. I know. She's lying, right?
Yep.
She repeated your question because, she wanted to buy some time, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
Man from Toronto was like, I've known her forever. I don't buy it, blah, 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 right?
Mm-hmm. Teddy asked if she's ever seen her in person, which she has not. Which is a big, setup for later. Sowing the seeds of doubt.
Yes. And then this is when Toronto hands him like the worst fake passport ever made. There's a scene earlier, I forget where it was. He was making a fake passport. Oh, when the conference room stuff, Toronto was making this fake passport, and it's the worst ever. It looks like the picture was just like scotch taped on from behind. It was like flappy. Right. I'm like, what do you do?
Yeah, it looks like somebody didn't run out of toner and they actually printed up a nice thing on their home printer.
It looks like you and I made a fake passport and did no YouTube like look up.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty sure it's what a passport looks like.
It says official government document on it, so therefore
it's clearly gets them every time. And this is also the question you and I raised earlier was, what does he need the passport for? Where were they planning on going? Because they certainly don't need it to leave Puerto Rico or to go to Puerto Rico, but they're already in Puerto Rico and they don't need
unless he doesn't have a real ID, it's certainly possible. I still use my passport to travel domestically now because I don't have a real ID yet. So
yeah, like did he lose his ID and everything? I don't know if that happened, but yeah, okay.
Or trying to travel under an assumed name, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's true too. I guess okay. Yeah, maybe there's something. And then we're in the airport, right?
Mm-hmm.
and they are getting to know each other.
Yeah, Teddy says that he knows about the bear and the grandfather and like, you know, the 50 miles from nowhere situation. I get it.
And then Man from Toronto gives him a little tough love to Teddy, though. He's like, hey, you're not able to follow through. You have no guts. You're scared, blah, blah, blah. And it kind of hits Teddy pretty hard. He's a little... Which,
bad scene. Not like badly done, director and everyone else involved. Because like, while they're trying to make it tense and dramatic and make it seem like it's a big reveal to Teddy, but also like they fade out.
Yeah,
they fade out Toronto's speech like too early. Yeah. Like it's just like you know, like you never follow through on whatever. Yeah. And you're like, oh, well, I'm sure he's saying more. Like,
and they do like a close up on Teddy, like he's realizing this, and it's like, all right, but I mean, there's
too early.
It's too early, and there's like zero, like it's like basically Teddy's off zoning out, and Toronto's talking. It's like, well, are you supposed to be
for like another like minute?
I thought that was weird too. I was like, wait, why are they doing this?
yeah, interesting choices. And then basically Toronto ends his speech with saying that he's got a feeling he's going to Teddy his relationship by the end, and then and then we finish fading out.
Yeah, and we're at the airport. We get a quick TV news update about, you know, the Venezuelan president, right? And where the meeting is happening and all that stuff, just to remind us, don't forget about this. This is a major plot point thing that's happening.
Yep.
And then
he calls Lori.
Yep, he calls Lori.
And says he's sorry for Teddying everything.
Yeah.
Which just still makes me laugh.
Yeah, and he wants to... so he just, you know, he wants to fix things, but he's talking to her, and then they're going to meet for dinner at the L'Ambassadeur. Yeah, which and then Toronto just hangs up the phone on him. See ya.
Kaley Cuoco in the background. Let's get pre-lit. What? What's happening?
Love pre-lit. Yeah. I mean, we used to get pre-lit.
I guess so, but they're like in their 40s, probably.
I mean, you never grow up, right? You should never grow up.
I guess so.
Get pre-lit. So they're at the restaurant. They arrive at the restaurant. And then this is the moment where like you have like the tough guy character who all of a sudden has like his kind of soft moment, right? And then this is where the other guy is supposed to step in and kind of help him out.
I wanted to check this place out. They're supposed to have like the best durian sorbet.
And Teddy's giving Toronto some tips on like not being crazy about eye contact, and like, you know, everybody's learning from everybody now, you know?
Yeah.
And they're meeting the white Lori and Anne, which Toronto didn't realize, and Teddy's like, "What's the big deal?" Blah blah blah. You know, I don't need to tell you this. And Toronto's like, "Oh, I get uncomfortable around women and stuff like that." So
right. So meanwhile, the FBI is watching. Like they've got this place pretty well covered. Yeah.
The whole gang is back. So we got Santora outside. We got and then we got the headquarter base there. They're all keeping an eye on things, right?
Yep.
And then they go sit down.
Yep.
And there's a little back and forth, and we get Anne and Man from Toronto. They get a little connection over Deborah, the car. Debbie.
Teddy introduces him as the man from Equinox, which is funny. Like they're gym buddies.
Yeah. Then they talk about the car a bit, and then that's kind of cues a little thing between Anne and Toronto there. And then we get a little
big into 1969 Dodge Chargers.
Absolutely,
and makes it known.
Yes, very clearly.
That car is a weapon.
Charge
a car.
Paying for all these moments.
Is this the part when they do the hand tattoo thing too? We get the more backstory on Toronto.
Yeah, we get a little more backstory in Toronto, and about how he wanted to open a restaurant.
Yeah, because he's got this hand tattoo, and Annie says, "Oh, that's nice. Are you a chef?" He's like, well, I want it to be.
So don't bother opening a restaurant. It's too much. It's too much work.
Yeah. But he said it was scary and wasn't sure if people would show up, and she's like, "Well, I'd go."
Oh,
he's like, "Oh,
yeah." See,
you would.
The moral of the story: don't let your fear of your dreams hold you back. Just
that's right.
Go get them.
That is the actual moral of the movie.
That is the theme and moral of
because of course it has to have one.
I mean, we've got one, and it's the same thing.
That's right. The whole that's our arc. Our whole arc is that.
Is that it? Are we done?
Don't be afraid to follow your dreams.
Oh yeah. We're doing
have a podcast. No matter how many people listen to it, have a podcast.
It could all be Italian. It's okay. Our Italian listeners are great.
No matter how many people read your book, write a book.
Doesn't matter. Just chase after your dreams until you have to pay rent. Don't make sure you have a job to pay rent. But
follow your dreams right up until rent day. That's right.
Right up until you have to pay rent. Then I don't know. Go get a job.
Stop following your dreams briefly.
Briefly, pay rent, and then come back.
Right.
I think that's sound advice. I think we did good there.
The ITMT promise.
Chase your dreams until rent is due.
Yeah, we'll keep doing this until we fully run out of money, is what we're saying.
Well, the clock's ticking. Somebody's making a lot of life choices on the other side here.
That's right. That's right. Classic Man from Toronto situation.
All right. So then Man from Miami shows up. He walks in. Hello.
Unfortunately. And
then we get Santoro. He spots him. He's like, what should I do? They're all like, wait. And then meanwhile, we got Teddy, the good crew here, the good team, right? Teddy and Toronto and Lori and Ann, right?
Yep.
They're dancing.
Yeah.
And then Man from Miami shows up. Teddy's like, hey man, he spots me. He's like, we gotta go. And they just take off with no explanation, or they just go to the bathroom. I think that's what he said, right? We gotta go to the bathroom, right? Is that?
Yep, exactly. And Annie's like, oh, 2 men going to the bathroom. That's how refreshing.
So they just disappear, and Man from Miami comes in. Yeah, he basically chases them to the restaurant, down to the basement of the restaurant, and now they're in like a storage room.
Yeah.
This is mildly infuriating, but like you could just shoot them.
Not that it's important, but right before this is when we see the demise of Santoro there.
Oh, yeah. Yes, Santoro.
Not that it really matters, but
no, it's a good point. He goes to move in. The other team is the rest of the FBI agents like, don't do this. Man from Miami comes up and just like, knocks him out. Yeah, knocks him out on his own car. That's brutal. Getting knocked out with your own car.
My country needs me.
Yeah,
Homeland Security depends on me.
Oh, Santoro.
Well, I don't think so. This is also when Tice left, by the way. recurring segment of the pod of like how far does Tice make it in the movie? This is when Tice left the movie.
Okay, so she made it a little past halfway. Okay, that's good. Okay,
bad.
All right, that's not bad.
Yeah, it wasn't interesting enough to stay the whole thing. I agree with her.
Yeah. Agreed.
Fittingly, just picked an arbitrary part and she just got up.
So they, that's right. I guess they head to the bathroom first before they get down to the basement, right? And Toronto's like, oh, do you think Evan likes me? Blah, blah. And Teddy's like, dude, you gotta snap out of this, right?
Teddy becomes the voice of reason for a change.
Yeah. So then there's the chase. They get down to this basement storage room, whatever. Man from Miami shows up. He's got him at gunpoint. And he's like, give me the thumb.
Demands the thumb.
He's like, hand it to me. And Teddy's like, slowly kind of shuffling over and just throws it on the floor. Man from Miami's like,
why do you have a human thumb in a cheese puffs bag? What?
And at that point, as we've run into this before in other really bad movies where poor decision making, where it's just like, all right, just shoot them both right now. Let's just end this. Let's just wrap this up.
Yes. He could have easily killed them both immediately.
Man from Miami doesn't do that, and Toronto gets a jump on him, throwing a can of something at him, can of whoop ass right at his head.
So they have a fight.
Teddy's
not helpful as usual.
No, he shoots Toronto in the leg or something, right?
And then Miami punches Toronto and leaves. Takes the thumb and
with thumb. Out. Yeah, with thumb in hand. And then FBI show up, police show up, and everyone escapes.
Exactly. So outside, a million cops show up. There's a few empty cop cars around as the police are trying to close in on, who they think are the bad guys here.
Yep.
And Toronto's like, steal the cop car.
Good old ride along.
Yeah, which Teddy is not having, understandably.
Yeah, for obvious reasons. Yeah.
And then like that scene just kind of ends. Like then we cut back to like Miami delivering the thumb, right?
They steal the cop car and take off, and then we just cut to the some hotel where Marin is at, or whatever, some fancy location, right? So some
kind of compound, near the embassy, I guess. Like
seems
like they're still in the DC area, right?
Yeah, it seems like a really super duper fancy hotel or something. Like right. So Man from Miami, he drops off the thumb, right? Handler shows up, right? She pops in, I think, at this point.
Well, because the guy's like, you're not the man from Toronto. Who the fuck are you?
Right.
And I'm the man from Miami.
And she shows up to kind of, explain the whole situation. Marin pays first half, says the rest will be after the fireworks happen.
Exactly.
And then we get the cop car. Actually, we do cut back to the cop car right along situation here, where this is where we get the man from Toronto telling the story about Minnesota.
Somewhere in there too, the FBI are like now on their way again to the next place. Like they keep flashing to like wildly incompetent FBI.
Yeah.
Like just like driving around being like, wait, whoa, we missed that one. We got to go to the next one.
Yeah. Toronto gives the Minnesota. We get a little flashback. It is actually a quick shot from the trailer of him looking badass, and he's about to kill this guy. But then in the car behind him is a kid, and that's when Toronto kind of gives
he's about to kill this guy who's a chronic gambler who owes people too much money.
Yes,
that's what this all about. Like, interesting.
Hey, you don't pay up, you die. You pay with your life.
That seems. Then you don't get the money either way.
How
dumb, stupid.
Hell. Yeah, talk to the mafia, man. Maybe you need
Bad
to go talk to me.
crime.
Let's. Do you
guys break legs?
Yeah,
break legs.
Yeah, you don't kill people. You break legs and say, "All right, get to work."
Right.
I don't know. I agree with you, but so he sees the kid in the car and he's like, he wanted to break the cycle. I'm not going to kill this guy. Mm-hmm. And then after he set the guy free, the guy went on a rampage or something. Like what?
And he goes, well, you couldn't have possibly known that. And he said, well, he said, if you set me free, I'm going to go on a rampage. I did laugh at that part.
So then we talk about the restaurant. All right, we got some restaurant logistics here, but so he starts talking about how he wanted to open a restaurant and he needs $8 million.
What?
What kind of fucking restaurant is this?
That's so much money. Well, he's like, well, I want to do it right. That's his whole thing. I want to do it right.
Hey, if you're not going to, my motto is if you're going to do it right. But I don't know, $8 million.
But necessary.
Where are you? I guess where are you going? Like, where are you? If you send us up in like fucking New York City somewhere,
I guess
maybe, but
yeah, not in Utah, not in Toronto.
No, $8 million. Jesus,
$8 million. And that's when Teddy kind of points out.
And is this Canadian
wasn't
dollars?
Always. Yeah, well, I mean,
come on.
Let's not even go there. How many toonies?
It's loony. Yeah.
Well, toonies too.
Well, yes. Too many. It's too many.
It's too many toonies. And Kevin Hart, Teddy rightly points out, well, was it always 8 million? I bet it started at 2 and you're just scared.
He's scared to chase your dreams. Just go do it, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just like him. So,
yeah. So Toronto promises that no one will get killed. That's like how the scene ends. Is I promise you, no one's going to get killed. I'm not like that anymore. You got to pretend to be me one last time.
One last time. All right. So we're back at the hotel, I think. Marin, the Marin joint, Marin Palace, whatever you want to call it. Yep. Colonel Marin. The bad guy.
Colonel Marin.
Colonel Marin.
I imagine he's German, even though he's like Venezuelan or something.
Yeah. Willkommen, Colonel Marin.
Colonel Marin.
Colonel Marin. Did you eat your chocolates off your pillows this morning, Colonel Marin? That delicious combination of mint and chocolate.
Mint and chocolate and speed.
Oh shit! Okay.
Classic Nazis.
Yeah, right. Jesus Christ.
Well, man,
love their mint and chocolate.
Boys from Brazil,
Nothing to laugh at. All right, so here we are, and we get the classic briefcase with the code. Gotta have a briefcase with the code, right? Sequence moment. Yeah, the cool little flap
champagne, pre-celebrating like dum-dums.
Come on, you can't pop champagne already. Like, wait till the job's done and then pop champagne. A little safety tip from my TMT here. Mm-hmm. We pop champagne thinking there's gonna be a hit podcast, and
that's right.
Too soon.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah, we're working on it. You have to get there first and then pop the champagne. God damn it. So then Marin's assistant or wife, or I think they have the same last name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Whatever.
It's the wife. Yeah, Lady Marin. Lady Marin.
Lady Marin. Okay, so Lady Marin sounds like a character from Game of Thrones. Lady Marin. That's right. Lady Marin. Do you accept this? All right. So Lady Marin's
as opposed to Baron Marin. I'm assuming they're
would be
Colonel.
Their kid.
I know the Colonel is Baron, but
I thought it was like their kid whose first name is Baron. So it's Baron Marin,
right, like a Trump. Oh, okay.
Right.
Oh, okay. It's a
Colonel. We got Colonel Marin, Lady Marin, Baron Marin.
It's an allegory. I know what that word means.
And then there's Marion. Marin. It's a whole family.
Is she the maid?
No, she's part of the family.
Yeah,
it's a daughter.
Well,
Baron and Marin.
Classic Alice.
Okay, so we got a classic briefcase here. Code sequence. You pump that stuff in, set the bomb up, and boom, you're ready to go. Right.
That's right. Tick tick boom, baby.
Tick tick boom. Click click boom. So Lady Marin, she comes. She's like, "Wait a second, they're imposters," or something like that, right? And we get Teddy pops in, and they pull the old switcheroo move.
I'm not the imposter. You're the imposter.
Classic.
Works almost no times.
Don't know a single time that's ever worked, except I guess this time. So Teddy's like, I'm Toronto, and he calls out the handler because, again, little setup, little payoff here. They've never met, so she doesn't know what Toronto looks like, right?
Yeah, and Teddy Jackson is an obviously fake name.
Obviously a fake name, right? And then the man from Toronto shows up. He's bandaged up for the gunshot to the leg, but he is Teddy's, aka fake Toronto's driver, Wendell. That's right. He handles all the communications, right? Mm-hmm. Was that the whole play?
Works every time.
A ton of Kevin Hart being Kevin Hart here, just kind of talking away while everyone else is standing there listening.
Yeah, stupid handler is like, all right, prove you're Toronto. Like, only he would know who's Deborah. What? It seems like if you spend 5 minutes with the man from Toronto, you know about Deborah. Like, it's not a very well kept secret.
He has two things in his life: his car and his restaurant that he wants to.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. That's all he's got.
Very one dimensional. But he's like, oh, well, of course, Deborah is a 1969 Dodge Charger.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, well, okay, maybe.
All right. I guess you're good, right? And then, there's some dialogue that goes back and forth. I'm done whispering. The volume now has now elevated. I kind of like that line. It's fun. Yeah. He starts yelling. And then we get another, just like the beginning, grenade drops in, little flashbang pops in. Yeah, military FBI guys breaking through windows. Total chaos, right? This whole scene was such a weird transition, by the way. So this is like crazy action, right? You got the windows breaking open, FBI guys come in. Man from Miami and the handler like escape like the Joker and Harley Quinn or something out of the window, or like some like comic book villains like next time, Toronto.
Where's my grappling hook?
Yeah. I was like, what?
What?
Like Toronto sneaks in, grabs the bag of money. He takes off. Teddy's left on the floor, and then
guys.
And then that's it. And then that's it. And it cuts, and it just jumps back to the restaurant, Le Ambassadeur, and Teddy's dropped off by a fire truck.
Yeah,
and
Lori is walking away.
Yes, or she was already gone, right? Was she there? I thought she just took off.
No, we see her in the distance, and he's like, wait.
Oh, really? I thought she was just gone. I thought he came back hoping she'd still be there. Restaurant's like closed. It's like, dude, come on.
Yeah, I think she waited around or something like that. I don't know. It's very stupid.
Yeah. So he gets dropped off by a fire truck, which happens to be, I guess, a little FBI cover vehicle.
Famously, the FBI has many fire trucks. Yeah.
Yes, with little offices inside. And
that's right.
Great Wi-Fi. They chat, and their FBI is like, oh yeah, we did a little digging on the thumb there because we picked up the thumb, and it was from the other dude back in the conference there. It wasn't from Mr. Green. It was from I don't know who was screaming then, because that guy I thought he shot him dead.
Could be anyone.
Maybe he told him to scream. Hey, Mr. Green, just scream a little bit. That seems
probably
the FBI conclude that the man from Toronto wasn't working for or with Marin after all, so he wasn't part of this plot to go. And although
he was
although he was
right. Yep.
And then and then we get FBI just drop off Teddy and like, hey, you saved the world tonight. This whole like last few scenes just like are so weirdly just you saved the world tonight, and then we're back at Teddy home.
Well, Santoro's like, you're lucky to have a wife like Lori. And then he's like, you saved the world tonight out there, and he's like, yeah, saved the world, but I lost my world. Dumb. And then he rolls back up to his house, right? With
back in upstate New York. That must have been
Stephanie the dog barking, apparently.
Must have been a long journey, huh?
Yeah.
Several
hours.
That's been a sad ride home from DC. So we're back at Reagan home. We get sad Teddy. He's just moping around the house, all sad.
Lori left a message. She says she needs some time, some space. I called your boss, Marty. He said you got fired.
Ooh,
so
burn.
Not psyched about that.
I don't even think you know who you are. So a little introspection there. Teddy's like, I don't know who I am. Who am I?
Figure your shit out, and then we'll talk.
And then we're with Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
He's counting his cash, right? He gets a call from the handler saying, he's not going to get away with this, right?
I want my money, yeah.
I'll be honest, like this movie, it sits at like 2 hours. This could have been like an hour 40. We could have shaved some 20 minutes off this, like
way less.
This felt like this
could have been like a short. This could have been a 25-minute short.
At this point in the movie, this felt like, okay, I'm ready to end this. Like I'm done. I don't need to. We're ramping back up for a big, actually very long. Like we still have a lot to go through. Like,
yeah, it should have ended scenes ago.
Why is there so much going on of uselessness? Anyways,
yes.
So then we cut back to the handler's home, Ellen Barkin there, and she is scanning through the old Hitman database, as one does.
All the men.
Yep. All the men, yep. All the dudes. Yeah, we got a bunch of recruits. She's skimming through. We got, man from Moscow, man from Tokyo, man from Tacoma.
Yeah.
A bunch of others. Helsinki,
Vancouver.
And then she locks down 3. So we got the man from Moscow, man from Tokyo, man from Tacoma.
Yeah,
let's go take this guy out.
Which is actually Toronto. 2 men.
Tacoma.
Tacoma is 2 men.
I actually thought it was 3 because I thought it was one guy, but he had 2 partners. Because when they're in the street, I think there's like 2 dudes with him.
I thought it was the 2 brothers.
Oh, is it just 2 brothers?
I think so. I think the other guy was Moscow or
Moscow. Okay, yeah, whatever.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Whatever. I figured all the guys with axes were Tacoma because they chop trees down up in Tacoma
with accents.
Yeah, I mean. That's what they do up there, right?
Pacific Northwest accents.
Jared, do you even lumber, bro? Come on, man.
You're right. I haven't lumbered in ages.
I know, exactly. So clearly I'm the expert on this right now in this moment.
You're right.
So
you're totally right.
Don't Google.
I just saw you chainsaw a guy 2 weeks ago.
Right? So
Not 2 weeks ago.
I'm the expert. So Jesus, man.
Less than a fortnight.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. So then...
This is when Tice came back. She departed for a bit, came back for the finale, kind of.
So then we're back at Teddy home. Teddy home. And he gets a message from his wife saying she's going to stay with her mom or heading to her mom. So whatever.
Yeah, she's going to her mom. She's getting on the train.
Get on the train because that's all they have up in upstate New York.
That's right.
So we are in the streets of upstate New York. And we get Teddy, just running down the street to go catch the train to catch his wife to be like, that's my wife. Yeah. Right.
This was kind of funny. Yeah.
And then fancy car comes on over and hits him. Man from Miami.
Which, how did that not kill him? I don't understand.
It's a cartoon, Like,
yes. This is absolutely a cartoon scene.
Yeah. I mean, from the airplane moment, it was like, okay, this is a cartoon. So
Miami shows up and starts beating Teddy with a golf club.
Brutal. Like,
it's pretty funny.
Dead already. Like it's like a Tom and Jerry. Actually, this is Tom and this is what this is. This is Tom and Jerry.
You ever got beaten with a golf club, Russ? Because I have.
Yeah,
it hurt.
Oh, I thought you said, "Have I beaten someone with it?" I was like, "Yeah, that time I beat you with a golf club."
That's what I'm saying. It hurts.
Oh, it did. Okay. You didn't say stop.
Well, not saying I didn't like it. I'm just saying it hurts.
The old 7-iron, getting it done.
Ooh, ouchies.
Yeah, well, I wanted some answers out of you. You weren't giving it to me, so.
Yeah. All wow, no ow. That's what they say.
All right, so he's getting his ass kicked by a man from Miami with a golf club, which is definitely brutal, and that would hurt. And then,
in the nick of time,
just the nick of time, man from Toronto shows up and kicks man from Miami's ass.
Breaks the golf club, and he's like, I gotta help you get your gal.
And this is another moment when we could have
so stupid.
We could have solved a lot of problems by just killing Miami right there. But I know he's turned a leaf and he doesn't want to kill anyone. But you could have just killed the guy who's trying to kill you. It's self-defense at that point.
So frustrating.
Just you can kill him right now. Get it over with. Go get his wife back. But then they get ambushed by the men from Tacoma. Yeah, the Tacoma. All right, here we go. The Tacoma boys are here. The Tacoma Aroma boys.
You boys like a crossbow?
You like axes?
Yeah. Because Tacoma is West Texas.
Yeah, well, it is now. And then we get the man from Moscow too. He pops up, I think, once again at a gym, right? but
yeah, I think so.
It doesn't matter. So they sneak into there's a bit of a battle out in the street first, right?
There's a little street battle, yeah, very brief.
Yeah, a little gunfight thing going on, and I think some funny stuff was supposed to happen, but I didn't think.
Yeah.
Okay, like okay.
No, you're right. They were trying to make jokes. You're right.
Right. Yeah.
But they weren't funny enough to write down. So
yeah. Okay. All right. I thought I should. I thought I skipped something for a reason.
Nope, you're good. Yeah.
Okay.
So they go to the gym.
Yeah, Marty's gym, because that's where it all started. Right? Marty.
And he's like, Teddy starts waving a gun around. Yeah. At the gym, like a lunatic. Yeah. Marty's like, I'll give you your job, Mac, man. Like, just be cool. But obviously, it's not about that.
No, it's not about that. It's about safety. And man from Moscow shows up. Mm-hmm. He shows up from the back, and then we get the boys from Tacoma coming in from the back, from Tacoma or Roma, from the front door, and now they're kind of pinned, right? Yeah. And then this kicks off probably the best part of the movie, I would say, is this quote unquote single take action fight scene, which is probably it's an entire what's the song that's playing? It's the entire song like the thing. So it's a good 3, 4, 5 minute like scene.
I wrote it down. Well, Joker and the Thief.
Oh, there you go.
I did write it down.
Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah. So that song plays and it like lasts for the entire song. But so
Wolf Mother. Tice loves Wolf Mother.
That's it, Wolf Mother.
Noted it. Yeah.
I got no problems with Wolf Mother. They're fun.
Yeah, they're fun. Yeah. They're a band.
Yeah, they're a band that plays songs.
Yeah, they rock.
This is the single take fight scene. It lasts, I think, the length of the song, which is probably like 4 or 5 minutes. It's pretty good. It was fun. I mean, I don't know. It was the most fun part. I was like, thank God, because this is redeeming. It's not redeeming at all, but it was like, at least this is enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, you're gonna have a good time.
It's a gym fight, so it's like, barbells being thrown around, and it lasts for a very long time. Just
classic action comedy.
We got chainsaws in a gym. I mean, come on. There's things. You get the boxing.
Wait, and this is that second scene I was talking about where there are still a couple of guys boxing in the corner.
Yes.
For some, like, inexplicably, while like a lot of violence is happening.
Yeah, just let it happen. Just let it happen.
Gunshots, chainsaws, sword fights, like a lot of bad stuff happening.
Crossbows.
Just just hanging out.
Teddy gets to show off his non-contact boxing in the ring there.
That's right.
That's fun against one of the Tacoma boys. Mm-hmm. I'm throwing in a little fast fact here. You ready for this?
Great. Yeah,
I know. Exactly. A late fast fact. So this whole scene was done with a handheld camera. It was like some backpack rig, right? And it's actually, because it's supposed to look like one single shot. And it's actually 32 shots kind of stuck together. So
lame.
So then, they're fighting, they're battling. It's fun. There's things getting thrown around, weights getting tossed around. Kind of, whatever. It's fun. Get upstairs, go up to the second floor. Brutal no see chainsaw kill though. Right?
Yeah, it was awesome. I wish I saw it.
Which is so that doesn't make it. Yeah, okay. So so he's going up. There's one of the Tacoma boys coming after a chainsaw, and Toronto just like gets him down and just chainsaws him. You don't see it.
Like presumably like smushes his face into the chainsaw, right?
Yes.
Like, I think you don't that's the idea.
Yeah, and there's zero blood spraying anywhere, which is I was like, come on, give us a little bit, but
true. PG-13. You're only allowed so much blood spatter in a PG-13.
So then Toronto runs out the window, I think. Or right, I forget. Whatever. They end up outside.
No, well, a guy tackles Toronto out of the window,
and they hit a car, right? Which again, cartoon, you'd be both dead or hurting.
Yeah.
And so we're back outside. We got the Tacoma boys choking each one of our heroes, right?
Yep, that's right.
And they're like, "This isn't how I saw it ending." And then they break free.
What do you know? Man
from Miami comes in out of nowhere, kills the boys from Tacoma.
My bounty.
Has man from Toronto, right? Shotgun in his face. This is it. We're all done here. And then Teddy.
Could have killed him twice.
This is like the third time. Yep. And then Teddy comes up and just knocks the man from Miami out. Boom. His contact boxing.
He's finally a hero.
And then, this movie's not over yet. Still going. And
then the handler shows up.
Yes.
With a grenade launcher.
Yes, because sometimes you just got to, come on, bring in the heavy guns, right?
Tice left again just now.
And this is the scene from the trailer. Remember the scene in the trailer where they're like running and the cars are exploding behind them, which we're like, well, what's happening there? This is the scene. She doesn't know how to lead them. That's the problem. She's not an NFL quarterback here. You just got to look ahead, lead them. Instead, she's just firing behind them. It's like, or at them. You got to understand how,
No Tom Brady. That's right.
You just got to lead them by just a little bit, like 1 second, and this movie's over again.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. It's tough to be a professional out there.
Yeah. And then after she runs out of grenades, they run into a factory where she's shooting wildly. Like instead of like, there's a finite amount of ammunition that she has. And instead of using it wisely, she just fires wildly into a factory.
Yes.
It's just like shouting, "Give me that money."
Yep. Which,
okay.
Give me that money.
Yeah. So I've been known to do that also, but
you have been known. And then we get a little more back and forth. She's like, "I think you lost your edge in Minnesota." She's got to make gunpoint again.
I told you that before.
You definitely have. She's got to make gunpoint, and like yet again, the movie could be over. But everyone's got to talk. Everyone's got to like talk.
Yeah. Nothing sadder than a hard man gone soft, as they say.
And then we get the lever joke. The never ever lever joke comes back because he's like, "Hey, I was like, push the button." He's like, "Push the button." He's like, "Well, it's a lever." And he's like, "Well, if it's a lever, you said never pull the lever." And he's like, "Pull the levers, but sometimes you pull the lever." Mm-hmm. So he pulls the lever
for way too long.
So he pulls the lever, it drops her into what lever is this, by the way, that just like drops the floor out and like,
what? I don't know, but it's so funny.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. And then she falls into like boiling oil. Kevin Hart says, "I boiled a goddamn white woman because of you." Which is pretty funny.
Kind of funny.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible. Like she's like screaming and boiling to death slowly. And Toronto's like, smells like human tempura.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And Kevin Hart says it does also smell pretty good, but also I smell gas.
And they go on for a couple of seconds about how it smells like gas. And then Toronto's like, oh shit. And then the building just explodes and shoots them out the window. And it's a cartoon. It's a cartoon.
Unharmed.
So we're back outside the food processing plant center.
Yep.
Totally fine. Teddy sits up. He starts giving a speech about being able to open up to someone over the last few days, He's changed because of Toronto.
From the trailer.
All from the trailer, yeah. Speech goes on, and he looks over, and we get this heartfelt moment. And he looks over, and Toronto's disappeared.
Yep.
And
then it keeps going. Why?
Just end. End. Tokyo shows up. Man from Tokyo. Yeah. I once knew a man from Tokyo. He shows up, and this is a scene from the trailer where...
What? Is that like a Nantucket bit?
Maybe. I don't know. Once knew a man from Tokyo. He shows up, and he's babbling about something, and then Toronto shows up out of nowhere straight from the trailer, and he hits him with the car. This is that scene in the trailer. He hits some random person with the car.
Yeah, which I thought was Kevin Hart, which would have been funnier. But
yeah. And then Toronto's like, "Hey, I'll deal with this. Here are the keys. Here's my car. Here's Deborah. Go use Deborah to go get your wife." No. Never
trust with your Deborah.
Absolutely not. There's no way. No way. Yeah. Like, I'll drive you there.
Yeah. And then does the classic now, and by classic, I mean, they've done it 2 or 3 times in this movie where he's like, here's 2 things you have to remember. The first thing is like, don't fuck it up. The second thing is don't forget the first thing.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha.
Don't scratch her. The second thing is, and he's like, let me guess, don't scratch her. Don't follow the first rule. Yeah. Whatever. What do you think's going to happen to that car? So he spins out, and all the cops show up, and the cops
are like,
we can't keep up with the 69 Charger. And as they say it over, like, Jesus Christ, how much money did Charger pay for this? Like, oh my God. The only product
cops hate him for this one simple trick.
Yeah. He's got a 69 Charger. I mean, things fast. Outruns the cops.
Mm-hmm.
Almost hits the old lady. Narrowly hits the old lady from the beginning of the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just lands on the railroad tracks because he's an idiot not paying attention and stalls out there or something.
Yeah, something.
I hate all of this. This is just infuriating because it's like, come on, you You just said not to scratch it. You know what's going to...
park your car on the train tracks. In general, that's not something a normal person would do.
Yeah, you look around, you're like, and there's like the things going down, the bells are going off. Like,
a lot of awareness signals.
This is why we have these things. Pay attention. Basically, the other moral of the story is pay attention.
That's right.
Chase after your dreams. Don't be scared to chase them, but also just pay attention.
Be aware of your surroundings.
Be aware of your surroundings at all times, because if you're not, that makes you an asshole. So
head on a swivel.
Head up on a swivel. Car's parked on the train tracks. He catches a wife on the platform.
Oh, I figured it out finally. I need you. And she's like, oh, okay. And like, meanwhile, the train is coming. You're like, no.
You see in the background, you see the car sitting perfectly in the train tracks. Like, oh my God.
Meep, meep.
And kablooey, that Charger is no longer.
It's
lost its
$2 million in the charge.
Yeah, which we forgot about that. And that is just floating CG cash floating everywhere, all over the place. CG train, CG cash.
Yep.
Pretty bad.
Then the cops tackle Teddy. Like, everything seems like it's finally going his way, except for the smash car and lost $2 million. So I guess nothing's going his way except for Lori.
Yeah.
And the cops tackle him, and suspect apprehended. Thank God.
And then guess what? We don't have to explain how they got all of this, but title card 1 year later.
Because it's still going.
I love a good title card. It just solves everything. It's like, 1 year later.
End it.
End the fucking movie already.
We've already ended it 3 times.
So we're at a restaurant, which I'm sure you could have guessed is obviously Toronto's, right?
Surprise, surprise. And when you say we, you mean Lori, Teddy, and Annie.
Yep, they're all the gang's back together. Lori's preggers, so we got that. That's solved, right?
Chatting about durian sorbet, as always.
It's not very good because it smells bad, right?
That's according to Teddy, at least.
Toronto, he's with Anne, right? Things all worked out there, so that's worked out. She's,
Yep. He's asking about the baby to make sure, in case we didn't notice, that we see that she's pregnant.
Yep. Teddy's kind of found his calling. He's found his footing. He's got an online gym, right? Because that's where the world's going.
Non-contact boxing.
Right?
It actually worked. And everyone's happy.
And then,
except for they ran out of toner.
For the check.
For the restaurant receipt, right?
Yes, and Teddy's like, oh, is that a 6 or an 8? And he's like, oh, that's an 8. He's like, I guess you've got this one. He's like, oh, I guess we ran out of toner. So the low toner joke comes back. And then Teddy's like, because it's still not over, Teddy's like, hey, calls him aside. He's like, hey, man, here's a check. I want you a partner. I want you to partner, but this is weird.
Not I want you to partner. I went ahead and made you a partner on my business. Wait a second.
Like, what?
Am I now liable for your business mistake?
Yeah, I wouldn't trust him.
No.
He's the biggest screw up in upstate New York.
This is a huge trap.
Everyone knows this.
Yeah.
He hands Toronto a check saying, hey, here's a down payment for the car to get the car fixed. Right. And Toronto enrages him, which, that's completely fair.
Sure. And
he's like, that's not even enough to fix the axle. And he's like, well, the axle. And they have a little back and forth. And then Toronto starts choking him and says he wants Deborah back. Oh, my God.
It's not funny. It's just stupid.
Yeah, and then we start rolling credits, and then there's
that's the end of the movie.
That's the end of the movie.
The end of the movie is him choking Teddy about Deborah.
Yeah, and then we cut to credits, and then they're not outtakes; it's a continuation of Teddy in his gym doing his online gym stuff.
Yeah, infomercial style.
Yeah, he gets a call from a caller here. It's Toronto. Talking about Deborah and how he killed her, and then there's obviously again more misunderstanding stuff happening.
And Teddy's like, "Well, back off! Like, we're live on the air, and there are kids here." And he's like, "Well, I miss Deborah. You killed her, and I'm not in Toronto. I'm standing outside." To which Teddy says, "Oh fuck!
There's your one F
out."
Oh,
they bleeped it out. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's the end. Bleeped out fuck is the last word of this movie. Horrible. Horrible. And then also that undoes the 3 false endings before this where they became friends.
I was like, did they hate each other?
Are they enemies now?
Are they actually friends, or is he actually gonna kill him?
I don't, nothing matters. I guess we'll find out in the sequel in the universe.
Yeah.
The sequel here.
Hitman's body's guard from Toronto.
What a nightmare. What a horrible movie. Why'd they do that?
23%. Well, there you go.
It deserves fewer percents.
At least 3 or 4 or 5.
Yeah. It had a couple not laugh out loud funny, but like, oh,
chuckle funnies.
Yeah, it had a couple chuckle bits, and other than that,
these movies don't need to be 2 hours long, and I don't know why they keep making movies 2 hours long that don't need to be. Like this movie, you make this an hour and 40, and you tighten it up a bit more.
Horrible.
Probably better.
Way better.
2 hours and like the last 30 minutes was like 5 different endings. Like
it's too many endings.
And the fucking movie.
Pick one.
Yeah. And this is a cartoon for who? Is this like an adult cartoon?
Well, and that's what like.
And who's watching this?
It reminded me of like Red Notice, right?
Yes.
Which I liked more. Like Red Notice, I think is around 30%. Also, like it's not good.
No, but I don't think it is.
But it was more fun.
Yeah.
Like it had more plot to it. Like I don't know. It just seemed like I would put them square in the same category of brand new, terrible action comedies.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like why? Why did you make this one so much worse?
Well, the other thing too is that this was supposed to come out like 2 years ago too. So like,
I guess so.
But that's also weird. Like, I don't know. Like Red Notice is sitting at 36%, but 92% audience score, which that sounds about right because
it's kind of fun.
The movie is stupid, but it's fun. And it's like, okay, we know what you're getting yourself into. It is really dumb and it's just dumb, but it's fun. And it's also, you can't go wrong with Rock and that gang there, Ryan Reynolds and whatnot.
And you would think I can't go wrong with Kevin Hart and Woody Harrelson. You would think.
Yeah.
However,
like
they were definitely the best part of the movie. Just the writing was so bad. Like it ruined.
Yeah.
What like they could like none of the Kevin Hart movies that I enjoy are good.
No.
Like they're not objectively good movies, but they are like, oh, okay, well, I know who I'm writing for. I can write a funny Kevin Hart joke. Great. That's what I want to see.
Funny enough, the guy who wrote and directed Red Notice, this is quite the name, by the way. Rawson Marshall Thurber?
Rawson.
Yeah.
Not a name.
You're not real.
Yeah.
He did Central Intelligence.
Oh.
Director, screenwriter for Central Intelligence, which is his highest rating. Oh, and he did Dodgeball too. Director's what? Really? I didn't know that.
Oh, well, that makes sense then. Dodgeball's good.
Yeah.
And Skyscraper? Nice.
Yeah, not involved. He's a big rock fan, apparently, right?
Yeah, who isn't?
So, not related to this movie at all, but yeah, I just don't.
What a twist.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
don't waste your time.
No.
Listeners, go watch many of the other movies that we've covered that are worth watching at least.
At first, I was like, "Oh, this isn't the worst movie we've seen," but I'm like, "It's not." It's
down there.
Yeah, it is pretty far down there, huh?
It's a bottom echelon movie, I think, that we've seen.
Yikes.
I wouldn't watch it again.
No. I definitely would not. So, all right.
Work.
Well, yeah, good work, team. On our side, I mean that for us, not for
right. Yeah. Bad job. The rest of you who did that. Shame on you.
Just learn from your mistakes and move forward. So, all right. Well, I mean, I don't know. Is that it?
Yeah, I think we wrapped it up.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. That's our full breakdown of what was the name of this movie?
Man from Toronto.
We'll be back next week with a new movie breakdown and all that sort of stuff, right? Trailer trash.
Point breakdown?
Oh.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
A little teaser.
Astute listeners might.
Right. Okay.
Who make it all the way to the end whenever we babble on for 5 more minutes.
Yeah. Just like this movie, we don't know when to end it.
That's right.
So, but in the meantime, until you get to next week, I know you're salivating for it, but until you get there, just follow us on Instagram at It's This Meets That, or on Twitter, right? TMT Pod. And if you're listening to us on whatever service it is, just follow us or subscribe.
Any service, really.
Yeah, all of them.
And while you're there, you can leave us a review, especially Apple, Spotify, I don't know, wherever they let you do that. Please do that. Please clap for us because we appreciate it and it helps other people discover us.
Yes.
And if you want to say something about us more long form, can't fit it in a review comment, you can send us an email and we'll read it in Trailer Trash. It's thismeetsthat@gmail.com, or go to the website. We've got all the information about us, about how to get in touch with us, every episode we've ever done with some nice images, very pretty.
Beautiful images.
Beautiful, terrific website. The best website you could possibly go to. It's thismeetsthat.com.